You ever read a book or watch a movie where a character who barely even speaks ends up being the most important one? It's kind of wild, right? Today, we're going to dive into how one of these silent giants can just walk in and completely take over a story.
Seriously, how does that even work? How can someone who's practically a background character, who has almost zero lines, just win? Well, we're going to solve that little mystery, and we've got the perfect example of this incredible kind of narrative power move. So, let's turn to Dostoevsky's classic White Knights. The character we're talking about is known only as the Lodger. I mean, for most of the story, he's basically a ghost, just a name that gets mentioned. But you're about to see how his absence is just as powerful, if not more so, than his presence. Okay, so the entire tension of this story really boils down to a classic showdown between two types of people. You could call it the dreamer versus the doer. This one conflict sets the stage for absolutely everything else. And these two guys are perfect opposites. It's almost comical. On one side, you've got the dreamer. This guy talks a lot. He's all flowery language and big ideas. But when it comes time to actually do something, he freezes. Then you have the lodger. He's silent. He's practical, and he is 100% decisive. It's that timeless battle, you know? All talk versus all action.
See, the lodger's power isn't in what he says, it's in what he does. He doesn't sit around writing poems about love. Nope. He goes to Moscow to make money and build a future. He says, "I'll be back in exactly 1 year." And what does he do? He comes back, right on schedule. He acts on his promises, and that's what makes him feel so real.
But this is where it gets really interesting. The lodger isn't just a guy who gets things done. He actually becomes this incredibly powerful symbol that changes the whole meaning of the story. If you had to give him a title, the anti-dreamer would be perfect. He's the classic man of action. His whole job in this story is to be the cold, hard dose of reality that comes crashing into a world built on daydreams and wishful thinking.
So what's he all about? Well, he represents the future, stability, all the things that Dreamer can't really offer. It's like, think of him as Prince Charming, but if you stripped away all the magic and the white horse. He's just a guy who shows up and makes a solid, practical choice to get married. He's the real world knocking on the door.
And when that real world finally shows up, man, it delivers an absolute knockout blow to the fantasy. The Lodger's return isn't just a little plot twist, it's like a psychological bomb going off.
Let's just walk through how this takedown happens, because it's brilliant. Step 1. The dreamer builds this whole fantasy world, right? He convinces himself and the woman he's into, Nastenka, that this lodger guy is never coming back. He's basically just hoping his rival is inactive as he is. But then, step 3, the lodger just appears. He just shows up. And in that single moment, the dreamer's entire world just shatters. Instantly. Game over. And here is the most incredible part of the whole thing. He wins the girl. He wins the story without saying a single word to his rival. He doesn't have to fight him or argue with him. His physical presence, the simple fact that he showed up when he said he would, that alone is enough to completely demolish the dreamer's fantasy.
So, what do we take away from all this? What's the big lesson from this silent giant's victory? Well, it really all boils down to one incredibly powerful idea.
And here it is. The dreamer has this beautiful, poetic theory about how things should be. But the lodger? He is the cold, hard fact that just walks in and destroys it. He is reality. And in this story, reality always wins.
So that leaves us with a pretty big question to think about, doesn't it? In our own lives, how many times do our grand plans and our best intentions get completely sideswiped by someone else's single, decisive action? It's a really powerful reminder of where true influence comes from. Something to chew on. Thanks for hanging out with me today.